Hello YouTube, welcome back to my channel. My name is Neo. In this video, I am working on a return client. If you notice, her nails are a set that I actually have posted on my page. She came in for a design change, so I figured I'd show you a little bit of the removal process. So she had these nails on for 4 to 5 weeks. As you can see, there's not a lot of growth. Her nails just grow a bit slower, but she just didn't have time to come in. Usually she likes to come every 2 to 3 weeks, but she just didn't have time this time around to come in for a change. So I got her in and she wanted something completely different. So I am using a 3x coarse or 3 times coarse carbide bit. It does have flutes, but they are straight flutes. It is also a safety bit, which means that the top of it is rounded off, so you would have to do something like uber crazy to like damage or cut your client with the tip of that bit. I enjoy using this just for my preference, and I know that my clients prefer it too, just because it makes them feel a little bit better. I am using it at a really high speed to remove the acrylic. It's about 20 to 21, maybe 22 RPM on my Melody Susie Scamander drill, and I'm using the Macart dust collector. So anytime I'm removing an acrylic set like this, I use my dust collector. It's not perfect, but it definitely helps. You can see the amount of dust coming off of product that I'm filing away. Just imagine that if I didn't have a dust collector, it would be all over me and the table. So it definitely gets its use. I think it's worth the price. I'm definitely looking for a new one. I know Young Nails is doing a Black Friday sale, so I got my eye on that one. But yeah, I am just using that bit. So something happens, I think, on this nail and maybe another nail as I am filing. So when I apply any type of design, I usually put down a clear layer of acrylic. So as you can see, I am just getting rid of, so it didn't happen on this nail, sorry. Maybe it's this one. I place down a clear layer of acrylic, and usually that's what I file down to. So I'll file off any color that I see, especially if they want something new. Most of the times they want something completely different. And that gives me a saving layer so that I don't actually touch the natural nail. I just file down to the clear acrylic and then I can build off of that again. Sometimes though, if the tip has been compromised, whether it's been through, a lot of use, or if I file down too much on the tip, as you can see on this finger, her nail started growing out a lot. And when I was filing down, I filed a little too hard on the tip of this nail and thinned it out so much that when I was cleaning off her side walls, it actually snapped off the tip. So that's something that happens when removing designs. I don't think it's a big deal. I just file down as much as I can to the natural nail at that point, and then just prep the nail for a new tip. So I think that happened once or twice on this hand, and I think once on the other hand, but it's not a big deal. So you see me, I'm using very, very, very light pressure, just because the speed is fairly high, and I just flake off as much of that clear acrylic as possible, especially on the tip, as I'm going to be applying a new one. For the rest of the nails, I'm just filing off the design, filing off any of that old acrylic, any top coat, things like that, cleaning off the color that I can physically see, and smoothing the nail as much as possible with this 3x coarse bit. After that, I actually went in with a cuticle pusher and pushed back her cuticles. I didn't get that on film, and exposed any cuticle that is left over on the natural nail. So I'm using a extra fine sanding band and a mandrel bit. I use this at about 3 or 4, sometimes 5,000 RPM, 3, 4, or 5. So very slow. It's pretty much the lowest speeds on this drill. To do this, it is safe for the natural nail, and it doesn't doesn't hurt the client. So I'm just cleaning off the natural nail to get rid of any cuticle that is left on there. That's pretty much what I'm doing here. On the nails that, like on this nail, you'll see me run it over majority of the nail, just because I did expose more of the natural nail on this one, just because the tip did come off. You see me going down the length of the nail. That's just removing any shine that might be there and just focusing on that cuticle area. And just for a final touch, I'm going in with my needle bit. It is a diamond bit, so it is safe for the natural nail. Again, I'm using it at a very slow speed, about 3, 4, or 5,000 RPM, depending on, wherever I just turn my knob on my drill. And I'm just cleaning up under the eponychium and scraping off the cuticle from the nail. So I'm keeping the bit very flat to the nail. I'm not digging down. There's no angle really. You don't want to cause rings of fire. And I'm just using it to clean right under that eponychium and on the nail plate. So I have to replace those 2 or 3 nails that I accidentally, filed off. So I'm just giving her a quick shape up. She doesn't really care if her nails are long or not, so that's fine. And I'm replacing it. So I have the 2 guys one-step coffin tips. These are my favorite tips, of all time. And I'm just sizing her up, making sure that the tip fits from sidewall to sidewall, and applying it straight on the nail, lining it up not with the tip of the nail or the angle of the nail, but of the, direction of the bone of the finger. I have some clients that have really crooked fingers, it goes straight and then it just takes a sharp right or a sharp left. And if you line that tip up with the actual nail plate, the nail will be going in a crazy direction. So I try to just look at the line of the nail, so where the knuckle is facing, and just draw an invisible line with my eyes, and then place the tip of the nail that way. I mean, that helps me the most because it gets crazy. But yes, that's what I'm doing. As you can see, I replaced 4 of the nails. I'm just gonna trim them to match the existing nails, and then we're gonna get started. So I'm going in with a straight edge nail clipper, and I am trimming it. She wanted a coffin shape. This client likes a nice thin coffin. She does have a wider nail bed, so sometimes it does take a bit more taking in the nail on each side, but I'm just using a straight edge clipper. It's fairly easy. And then I'm gonna go in with a hand file just to make that shape even more crisp. Now I'm going back in with my sanding band, and I'm just blending those nails. So all of the 4 nails that had new tips, I'm going in and blending just the tip onto the natural nail. I'm not going over the nail as much because I've already done that, but I'm mostly focusing on blending the tip into that natural part of the nail. As per the usual, I am using the Mia Secrets Dehydrator and Primer and the Young Nails Protein Bond, and I will be going in with a clear bead of acrylic just to give a base to all 10 fingers. So the design for today definitely wasn't what I had in mind. Normally she comes in and she's just kind of like, do whatever you want. But I have some sample nail designs sitting nearby, and she was kind of bored, so she was like looking through them. She saw this Cateye polish sample that I had and loved it. And she was like, I want this. And I'm just like, oh crap, that's not what I had in mind for you today. But I was like, all right, let's do it. We'll figure it out. And it was an iGel Beauty Cateye polish. And it was a dark navy blue with, I guess the Cateye, or that metallic reflection bit, was like a neon green. It was really, really cool, and we ended up using it. But she wanted something related with the acrylic, hence the colors that we're using. So funnily enough, both of these colors are custom mixes. I created these colors earlier this year, just playing around with chalk pastels and mica powders and glow-in-the-dark powders. So I don't actually have any names for you for these colors, but I am just marbling them in an angle on the nail, leaving the cuticle area bare, just making sure that the green kind of pops through because it is a darker set. And on two of the fingers, we're just going to have that dark navy. I guess it's like a turquoise or a teal. It's not necessarily a navy blue, but it's like a dark teal. So just making sure that we can see that neon green despite the darker teal color. Now I will be ombreing a natural nail plate color by Sugar and Cream onto the cuticle area of the nail, and I'm not actually blending it down the nail. So on this pinky you see me taking it pretty far, but I eventually go back and cover it up with the green and the blue again, because I kind of wanted it to mostly be the blue and the green, and then just a tiny bit at the cuticle of the natural nail plate color. So I'm clear capping that dark green color just because it is pure pigment. It is not meant to be a core color that you don't have to encapsulate. So I'm encapsulating with clear acrylic by the Young Nails Core Clear. And then I'm going to be doing the same thing on the other marble fingers, just taking a tiny bit of that nude color and blending it down towards that marble area. So you're gonna see me, I'm placing a very tiny bead, just making sure it's nice and clean around that cuticle area, and then barely dragging it down. I don't want it to come down particularly far, and it kind of looks like it's coming down at an angle. And if I feel like it goes down too far, just making sure to take that green and the teal and blend it over in that marble action over the nude color. And then after all of that, I'm just going to clear cap all of the nails with the Young Nail Core Clear. Now it's time to file. I played myself. I was like, oop, that's not my file. So I'm actually going in with an 80/80 grit. Right now it's not an 80 grit, but I'm gonna go in with an 80/80 grit hand file just to get the shape in, like, you know, seriously. I love using a higher, or I guess higher grit. Lower grit, meaning higher, I guess, what is it called? It's a lower grit, so it's more, I guess, rougher, higher roughness of a file to get a really good shape, nice and crisp. It just works for me that way. I just feel like I get the best shape that way. And I'm just refining that coffin shape. These nails are worn down. She's had them, this is not her first, I think this is like her 4th or 5th set with these same tips, which is why they were breaking down when I went in for the file to change the design. So, you know, she works with her hands a lot. She types a lot. She does a lot of hard work with her hands. So her shape doesn't really last, which is totally fine, especially if you have a job where you're just using your hands a lot. So her shape needs to be refined. It does get smaller and smaller, but you know, she prefers that anyway. So I'm just making sure to clean that shape up and give her a nice tight coffin. And I'm going in with my 5-in-1 medium carbide bit. It is a safety, and I'm smoothing out the nail. You'll see me run my thumb over her nail, and I am still so in love with my nails. They look so good. But I'm actually thinking about changing them just because it's been a while, and I'm kind of like, these look good, but I think I want something new. But yeah, back to her set. I am smoothing out the nail and cleaning up the cuticle area with this safety bit. After finishing up with the e-file, I'm going back in with a hand file. This is a 100/180 grit, so I'm graduating down in roughness. And I'm just going to clean up that shape. And you see me, I like to clean up the free edge by going perpendicular to the nail. I do squeeze that finger really tightly, so please don't think that I'm hurting her. It does hurt when you file the free edge without holding it. Your finger kind of wobbles. It's very uncomfortable, but I am squeezing the crap out of her finger. Maybe that, if anything, hurts more than the filing. But yeah, I do like to do that just to make sure that that shape is nice and tight and crisp. And then I'm gonna graduate even more down to a buffer block. This is a super fine buffer block, and I am cleaning up the surface of the nail, getting rid of any potential scratches, and getting the edge into the cuticle and sidewall area. I find that these buffers also help to kind of flick away any leftover acrylic that might be there. So yeah, that's what I'm doing here. And now we get to the fun part. So this is that, not acrylic, this is that gel polish color that I was talking about from iGel Beauty. It comes out like a dark green, but when you use the magnet that comes with the polishes, and yeah, I dropped the polish. It reflects, you get more of a navy blue and a lime green. So the metallics in it kind of separate. It is a chunkier glitter as well. It's just really beautiful. So you'll see it happening here. I'm using the circle edge of that magnet. Now I'm using the straight edge, and as you can see, the base of the polish is that navy blue with the glitter, and then you have the lime green, I guess, glitters on top floating in that polish. So I have her cure for a full 60 seconds while I move on to her other hand, and I'm just going to repeat that process, playing around with the magnet, getting different designs that I think I like, but I'm trying to emulate the same swirling pattern that we did on the marble nail. So that's pretty much what's happening here. Gloss, and I'm top coating all 10 fingers. The Cateye came out really pretty. The colors that we chose really do match, and I think this came out really pretty. It's a dark set, but it was different, definitely different than what she had on before, and she really loved it. So I love that she loved it, and it came out great. Don't forget to clean your sidewalls and free edge and cure for a full 60 seconds. This is what the nails came out looking like. The marble was really fun and easy. It was fun to play around with just that swirling pattern, and this is your action shot. If you like this video, please subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.